All right, good night. How you doing out there, peoples? Listen, you know what I gotta do first, Miss Chantel. I gotta check the audio and everything, make sure it's all good right quick, okay? In a minute. Last time I was live streaming, hold on. Last time I was live streaming. Okay, that sounds pretty good. So let's leave that. Yeah, last time I was live streaming, I don't know what happened, but I know it's not my computer, but my I guess it was the internet service acting up. So the stream cut off. I was talking for a good bit before I even realized that the stream had ended. Okay, but one second. Yeah, I was chatting down, and I looked over, and I'm like, "What the hell?" The stream hadn't cut off. Okay, so yeah, let me get my music back on, and we're gonna get into this chat. I'm trying to find what happened to my music. Honey, listen, I'm going to get into the topic that the title reads, right? But first, I want to say this. Because I had been hearing, I did hear, I think it was the Dynas guy, his panel. Come on now. One second. Give me a second. Yeah, I did hear Dynas panel. Um, I think it was yesterday. And it was a very interesting panel. I mean, it was crazy because, when you get to arguing about spirituality and religion and stuff like that, it gets super crazy because people mindset is so different, and you have different walks of people um, with different experiences in life coming on one platform expressing their beliefs, so things get super chaotic and crazy. I kind of really, my goal used to be, not goal, but one of my no-nos used to be, do not have religious or spiritual conversations with people, like debates, because it just gets so crazy and everybody believes differently. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of people think that, I used to go on Cuba and them channel, and they used to be like, "Oh, you're trying to convert us." I'm like, "Who? Wait a minute. My Bible, which is the King James Bible, it doesn't teaches you nothing about go around converting people. It teaches you let him, his yea be a yea and your nay be a nay. That means you cannot force the will of God upon anybody. You cannot force the love upon anybody. They have to want that. We are all given free will to choose to live that life or not. And it is not my duty as a believer to go around converting anybody. It is our duty as believers to share the good news of Christ. That's it. Be ready to share the good news, especially if asked about your faith. But it is not my duty to convert you, to make you a believer, to force you into believing. What? I don't think so. So see, that's why I don't care to do debates with people when it comes to that. Because it gets chaotic, and people around the world believe in some crazy stuff, like Okay. Especially when it comes to women. Their belief, some of their beliefs about women, ooh, oh my gosh. Horrible. Horrible. Okay. So I wanted to touch up on that. I heard another YouTuber, he would say things like Jesus debated with people about the Bible and stuff. And I'm like, what? What? You talking about the creator debated? No, no, that's not so. He didn't debate, he taught. He was the teacher, the rabbi. He didn't debate them, he taught them. None of them could approach him with facts because he was the creator. He always spun them in a circle and left them, huh? Because he is the creator. How can you debate with the creator? Are you serious? You can't debate with the creator. That shit don't even make no, it doesn't even make sense. You debating with the creator. No, you're giving pushback. You're not debating. You're giving pushback. That's what those people did. The Sanhedrin, the Pharisees and Sadducees, and the people, they gave him pushback. But Christ was the teacher, the creator, the teacher in the flesh. He knew what they were thinking. He knew what they were thinking. You can't debate with that. So it was crazy for me to hear this dude up there yapping, and he's yapping. Yeah, they debated, Christ debated with the people. What? What? That's nonsense. He taught. He was teaching them. The rabbi was teaching them. Okay? So, some of the stuff I hear, that's why I don't like to get in those religious and spiritual belief debates and stuff like that. When I say debate, yeah, we can debate some humans, we can debate each other, whatever, back and forth. And debating is coming with actual facts, evidence. That's when you're debating. I really just have conversations. I don't really debate because debating is presenting actual facts and evidence of something. Okay, we just be having conversations because a lot of the stuff we don't even have evidence. We just theorizing it and making, making it make sense. We reasoning our thoughts about it. But listen, I also heard Dinah's panel yesterday, and they were doing the same thing, debating about spirituality and religious stuff or whatever. And it just sounded like a bunch of chaos because it was like, oh my gosh, I I did it before on Cuba, this panel. I just don't see the purpose. I learned the lesson. Do not waste your breath with people who don't believe in what you believe in. Let them be who they are. You be who you are. Let it be. Okay, I ain't trying to force nothing upon you, and you don't force nothing upon me. Like they were atheists, and they truly believe that people that believed in the Bible were trying to convert them. I'm like, well, not me, sir. Okay, that's not my duty. So, anyways, they were on Cuba, not Cuba, but Dinah's panel, and Elvis the Cannibal. The cannibal who threatened to literally eat Miss Chantel raw just a few months ago, who wears the Christian cloth to cover up himself. He's a wolf in sheep clothing. Yes, that's what I said, a wolf in sheep clothing. And there's a lot of wolves in sheep clothing out here. I told you guys the story about how I met a couple of guys from the church, and it turned out, ooh, oh, hell no. Okay? Because there's wolves in sheep clothing out here. But the Bible tells us you will know them by the fruit they bear. You will know the tree. The tree represents the person. By the fruit they bear, the fruit represents the behavior that they show. And then it goes further and says a good tree cannot bear bad fruit. A good person just won't do bad. They're not going to do wrong. And a bad tree will not bear good fruit. A bad person, they just won't do right. So you judge a person, I always say, by their actions, not by their mouth. You talk a good game, but I don't believe in you. That's too short. So, anyways, um, yeah, Elvis the Cannibal was on the panel, and you know, if you're on a panel and you have a disagreement with somebody or you dislike somebody for whatever reason, I've been on some crazy platforms, okay, drunk, crazy, just crazy buck wild platforms, chatting it up with some crazy ass people. But I've never ever heard someone that say vulgar sexual things like that guy said, and then went on to threaten to literally eat me raw. And he's from a tribe where they literally eat people raw. Yeah, I showed y'all the videos. And I went on to say I would report it because it's a threat. You can't do that in America. You can't threaten to eat people. That's a threat, just like saying you're going to kill somebody in this country. And so he went on to say, if you report me, I'll have your information. I mean, I don't think he understood that I was like, ooh, if this bitch was in front of my face, I would knock off, I would stomp the fuck out of his teeth, out of his mouth. You don't know crazy, huh? Well, go ahead and test some of these American people out here and see if you can pull that bullshit on them talking about eating them. You're going to get stretched the fuck out. Hmm? This ain't Africa. Women have protection over here. And number two, women know how to protect themselves. Bitch, they got women to fight your ass better than a man out here today. Okay? He must not know. I sound very pressy. I am pressy a lot of times, but bitch, I know how to come out of pressy to defend myself. Okay? So, anyways, one thing I don't take lightly is threats. I could never get past the threat. You can't never come back in my face and apologize. For the other bullshit, it's no biggie, but a threat? No, bitch. You could never. And he tried to apologize, and of course, I rejected it. Okay? All right. So, they got people out here get killed for making threats. They've made threats. That's what happened with Slick Rick. Somebody threatened to kill Slick Rick, and Slick Rick was like, what? What? He said what? And he went and chased his ass down and found him and killed him first before he killed him. I mean, this America. You don't make threats. You don't make threats. And if have people gotten killed and the police find out they made threats and they be like, okay, well, better watch your fucking self out here. This America. That's why I say they don't know where they be stepping. They come to other people's country and they don't even know the environment they stepping into. As though somebody gonna be scared of you threatening to eat them. Bitch, you gonna get your teeth knocked out. The same person claiming to be a Christian, the same person after he made his threats and said all kind of sexually deviant shit, he went on to say that, make excuses that I was poking at him. Um, I don't know. I did reject him because he asked me to date short guys, and I kindly said no. And then I think he was acting real protective. He does that with the women because he got the Napoleon complex issue. The short men have the Napoleon complex issue, and he went on to have this extremely protective behavior about me and the other women, and it made me feel uncomfortable because I'm like, who the fuck is this dude? Like, I don't know you. It's creepy to me. Maybe full black is cool with that. Not me. I don't need your protection or whatever the fuck you're trying to do. Back off. And I said it in a nice way. I say, look, I've been around different sectors on YouTube and I'm very familiar with how it go down. I've had fusses and debates with people. I don't need your protection or whatever. I got brothers, nephews, and my dad and uncles and cousins. I got males around me and in my family, sir. And even online, if I could not handle myself, I would not even log on. They got some people that just listen. They could never hit a panel link because they're afraid that somebody may come at them. And for some people, they're going to lose it. They're going to be like, "Bitch," they're going to go crazy on it. So they don't even want to hit the link when they know it's a chaotic panel. But Miss Chantel hit the link because I know that, a lot of you motherfuckers retarded and stuff. You're cuckoo. I don't take you to heart. And you could never change who I am because I already know me. Nobody could come up to me and tell me something to change me, to make me feel any kind of way. Because I'm a grown, fully grown woman, approved, signed, and sealed, baby, by the Most High. Nobody can come and change that. Not the president, not anybody, not somebody on the street, not somebody, no person with any kind of titles can come to me and try to make me feel anything bad about me. I know very well who I am. Okay? And I don't respect titles, I respect people. So don't come up to me with you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, and you're not doing anything special that somebody else can't do. Some people choose not to go to school for 8 years, and some people choose not to go to school for 8 years to be this. Some people choose to just be a mechanic or whatever. It doesn't mean they're dumb. They might be just as smart as you are as being a doctor. So, see, I don't see things, how the average people walk around seeing things. I think outside the box. I see the bigger picture. All of it's structured. See, I don't want to go get political or spiritual on you, but when you examine your environment a little bit more deeper, you'll understand the bigger picture. You'll be able to see the bigger picture. Everything in this country is by design. All you have to do is look around America. America is the richest country, they say. America makes its own money, but they in debt. Get the fuck out of here with that. You can't be in debt, make your own money. America makes its own money. The richest country. But you have communities that's impoverished. You have people that's not in school. You have people that's being incarcerated and then released 40 years because they're finding out they were innocent. Many of them. It's by design because everybody can't be these educated people that makes all the money and that's high class. Because then who's going to take out the trash? Who's going to work the grocery store, cashier, the register? We need some people, I guess that's how they say it, to not be educated. We need people who will just be happy being garbage collectors. We need some people who's not educated. So when the doctors who we educate to feed them all of these pharmaceuticals, scientific medications, they're not educated enough to know that it's science and that we're using them as tests. Basically, we're testing things on them. They need uneducated people in this type of society because when they come out with products, who they gonna test them on? Usually, we know who they go to, right? They go over there to Africa. They go find uneducated people somewhere, which is Africa. They give them a few dollars, not even a whole lot, and they use their children and people as guinea pigs, testing their medications and all that stuff on them, doing all kind of stuff. And unfortunately, they put the people in the state to make them feel like the white people are their gods. And so everything they say, they just blindly believe it and they hold tight to it because they see them as gods. They don't know that it's all by design, right? And anybody that don't see them as gods is considered a threat, like Black America. Black America is considered a threat, especially in when they unify. But as long as they keep them apart, which they work hard at every day, keep them niggas apart, infiltrate the community, go pay some of them black nuts and have them infiltrate the community and spread dislike among the women and the men and the children too. Just keep them apart, do whatever, because we don't want them getting together, putting their heads together. It's all by design. No way black people should be poor. Black people have done some amazing things in this country. They've owned land. They have been great farmers. A lot of them are the ones that invented the farming machines. A lot of them. I'm gonna have to look that up for you. A lot of them played a big role in innovation of farming machines and stuff, making farming easy, the process of farming easy. But they rid all this from sight and hide it, and you know, because they need a level of people who are gonna just not be educated, not be not be rich or whatever. Yeah. So black people, we fighters. We've been fighting back with these people a long time about this behavior that they carry on and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons they don't give reparations. They would never, because they didn't want to give us reparations, because we would have went on our own, bought our own land, and once you have your own land, it's private land, right? You can't come in there motherfucking messing with nobody. But what's most important, we would not have to go to their facilities. We would not have to go near them for anything. We would have our own farming and our own everything. We wouldn't have to go near them. Oh, that's not good. Because then who's going to take out their trash? And who's going to. They want all their people to be successful and so forth. You understand what I'm saying? So it's by design. So um, I wasn't trying to get into that kind of conversation, though. That's not what I was trying to get into. I was talking about something else. But I just wanted to share the bigger picture, because a lot of people don't be seeing the bigger picture of things. They just see what's in front of them and they go for it. They don't be understanding the bigger picture, like all this shit is by design. Nobody in this country, I'm talking about before immigrants, and not the natives nor the blacks, nobody should be um, poor. Okay, especially blacks who built the country up and who they refuse to rectify, you know, using the people as free labor to build the country, to build the fucking country. They refuse, they'll give everybody money to rectify the situation except black Americans. And there's a reason behind that kind of stuff and stuff. But anyways, we're not talking about that. I would think I was talking about the spiritual thing on Dinah's panel. So anyways, the cannibal Elvis got on a panel and he had on his sheep clothing, because like I say, he's a wolf in sheep clothing. Oh, that shit just creepy as, oh, okay, hold on, I got somebody in the chat. Manola Princess, how are you? Greetings, Rob. I'm good, thank you. I've been in Nigeria for 2 weeks visiting my Hausa people in northern Nigeria. I had a great time. I came back to the state this afternoon. Oh, wow, good. I'm glad you made it back because I'm thinking, listen, I don't know what's going on with these folks moving around right now because Trump ain't playing, baby. He's not playing, okay? He's yanking everything. He's trying to he trying to go all the way back to birthright and stuff. Listen, I don't know if I'll be moving around like that right now, but I'm glad you was able to come back in the States. Or you say I'm hilarious, okay? You got pepper spray for him. No, I got these hands for him. Ooh, I was like, if that bitch was in my face talking that crazy stuff, boy, you don't know. Ooh, this is America. Women will fight your ass here, okay? This ain't Africa, baby. It ain't Africa. She'll fight your ass like a man. But anyways, let me get back on my topic. So I was saying that he was on the panel in his, Christian cloth, which he's not. He had just like a few months ago threatened to literally eat me raw because he disagreed with me saying I wasn't African. And then he went on to say all kind of nasty stuff and say what's my beef and that I performed fellatio on Africans and they did it to me and just nasty shit. Now he did this to another guy on Kayla's panel as well. Kayla said he found it hilarious. He loved it. Kayla liked it. We know that Kayla is something is wrong with him. He's a special type of person. Like he's definitely on the spectrum. It's just something not right with him. So listen, matter of fact, all of them who be over there, to be honest with you. So matter of fact, what was I saying? Wait a minute. So okay, so Kyla was saying it was hilarious. He thought it was funny, the filthy talk and stuff. And Dollar Bill had to convince him to put Elvis down and me down from the show or whatever like that. So anyways, he had this back and forth with Simp Police as well. He did the same thing. He came very sexually with a sexual deviant speech about, nastiness. And then he had a back and forth with Aphrodite's report. And he went to talking about how the children over there is getting F's up the booty and come leak out their booty. And Kyla took down the video. I probably would have took it down too, but if you take that video down, I don't understand why you didn't take the other two videos with me and Simp and him saying degrading shit to us as well. Probably because it was children. And that's how deceitful and he's just a filthy person. When you hear that video, you can hear the demonicness in him. Like, ooh, this shit is so cringy. Like you can hear a demon in him popped out. And I was like, ooh, bossing up. I was thinking the whole time, ooh, I wish this bitch was in my face popping off. Boy, I would rip your fucking teeth out. Anyways, let's move forward, all right? So, fast forward, he's going around on panels playing like he's this Christian, and he's not. He's a wolf in sheep clothing, as I said. So, he had been going to Kyla's panel a lot, and everybody kept telling Kyla that dude is not your friend. He's a slithering snake. Kyla knows it. Everybody knows it. Aphrodite's report came and told Kyla and the guys, listen, this dude Elvis is not your friend. You're best to not trust him. They were like, oh, he's good. Elvis is good. Okay. So now here we got Elvis on a panel tonight. When I clicked on Kyla channel to hear what they were talking about, Elvis was on the panel in his Christian cloth. which is, his cover up. He's a demonic person covering it up. And I ain't gonna judge. I think that he's a wolf in sheep clothing. Put it like that. He's deceitful and he slithers. He's not to be trusted. And what I heard when I did hear his real truth come out when his mask fell off, it was demonic. Um, it was demonic written all over it. So that's what I think about this, about the person. And so he's over there on a panel tonight, and he's like, he refuses in his mind when it comes to Liberia. Wait. I was talking about, well, let me get into this first. He was on Dinah's panel yesterday, once again, in his cloth, Christian cloth, playing like he got so much more than everybody else, honey, which he don't. He the worstest of the worst. He the worst of the worst. Trust. So he was on a panel and he was talking about the, Christianity and stuff. And I'm like, I know very darn well y'all ain't sitting up here listening to this cannibal who just threatened to literally eat me only about 3 months ago because I said something he disagreed with, which was, I'm not African. I'm an admixture. What the fuck? And that's what he went out claiming. Uh, yeah, listen. So he's up there talking as though he represent Christians. And I'm like, boy, if anybody hear that tape, they gonna shun you. Because that's something I've never ever heard in my life before. Somebody threatened to eat somebody because you disagree with what they say. Are you in your feelings about something? He might have some traumas or whatever, and he was in his feelings. Maybe something triggered him that was said, me rejecting the fact that I'm not an African, but I'm an admixture. Maybe that triggers something, and maybe he has some abandonment issues and rejection issues or something he struggled with. Sometimes stuff trigger people. And so, um, yeah, so he showed himself, and he was on Dinah's panel pretending to be this Christian again, speaking on behalf of Christians. And I'm like, you can't be fucking serious, right? In fact, there's over 300 different Christian denominations. I don't even know which one you are. So how you gonna represent all Christians and speak on Christians' behalf? You need to represent who you are and speak on what you believe in. You need to make sure you say I speak on my own about myself, because you do not represent Christians. No Christian would fold you into their arms knowing that only a few months ago you're from a tribe that eat people, and you threatened to literally eat a woman because she disagreed with you. They will shun you, darling. Okay. But that's what happened after the war was over, after they ate up the American Liberians. They had all them people, the child soldiers and stuff, they put on this cloth of Christianity. So they would tell you in a minute that they're Christians, but they're wolves and sheep. I don't know about all of them, but I know Elvis are. He's a wolf in sheep. Elvis is. He's a wolf in sheep clothing. Okay. And so he continued on Dinah's panel talking about, he went into saying, I'm gonna try to stay on one topic because I'll be all over the place when I'm talking, and I don't want to do that to y'all. That's a New Orleans colloquial dialect we have. We'll jump from here to here to here, different conversations at one time, and I'm gonna try to stay on one conversation with you. I'm doing my best, all right? So, so he went on with the conversation about how he's a Christian and he was so-called representing all Christians. Now I'm a Bible believer. I don't call myself a Christian. I consider myself a disciple of the biblical Christ. All right, Christianity came in the New Testament when, right now today, drew the Catholic stuff. Okay, So I don't consider myself a Christian, but I consider myself a disciple of the biblical Christ. All right. So he went on, he continued on a conversation on a panel of representing all Christians. Child. He went on to say that why believe in, why have a faith in something that says you have to be poor, and who wants to be poor on earth? You want to be rich. So I'm like, huh? What? Oh my gosh. And so the other people was like, that's right. Why would I believe in something that's going to keep me poor? I'm like, oh my gosh. What, what are you talking about? Keep you poor. So next thing you know, um, I'm like, what? What? This is not about, but believing in the Bible is not about money. It's not about you having faith to get money and goods. It's not about that. In fact, it's about you having something greater than money, which is the power of God invested in you. It's greater than money. And if you had that, you would know that that's way greater than money. Your mind would not be on money because our Bible says that a man cannot serve God and money. You must choose one or the other. So if your mission is to get all the money you can on earth or get $1 million or something or whatever you're trying to do, you're not really serving the faith, because the faith is right in the Bible. It says that there was a rich man that approached Jesus, a rich young man, and he said he wanted to, be make it into the kingdom of heaven. What he did this and did these things. What else does he have to do in order to make it to the kingdom, make it into the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus responded to him, "Job well done. Now just go and sell all of your possessions." He said, "No, go and give all of your possessions away and your money. Give all that away." I think he said just the possessions, though. Go give all your possessions away. And the man was rich, really rich. And he turned away and didn't follow Christ because he couldn't do it. He couldn't give up all his riches for Christ. And so he turned away sadly and went on about his business. And then it goes on to say, um, and I'm going to pull this up for you because I don't like telling people what they say. I want you to see it. It goes on to say that it's hard for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. It's like trying to put a needle. I mean, trying to put a camel in a needle's eye. I know. I'm gonna bring that up for you right quick. So my whole point is, it's not about money, but biblical believers and followers, it's not about money, and that's something I remind myself of too. It's not about money. So a lot of people, in the Bible, it also says that some people profit the word of God. Some people peddle the word of God for profit. So there's preachers and stuff that actually use the word of God to make money, to profit. And we see that today. Just because you hear people preaching the word, it don't mean their heart is there. It doesn't mean their heart is there. It means that they are using it to profit. Now, if you have somebody who never ever asks you for money and they just get up and preach the good news of Christ, all right, never ask you for money, you got to stop them and be like, hey, where your donation pot? Oh, yeah, it's back there. Just drop it off back there. But then you got somebody doing a shakedown, which they got them kind. They be doing a shake. Don't leave here without emptying them pockets. Now you gotta give something. Give $1. Y'all got. I've heard. Listen, one time we was in church and my son really wanted to tithe, and he not tithe, but he wanted to give a fee, and a donation, and it was $5. But the pastor man was like, "Listen, y'all young people coming in here all fly, expensive clothing and purses. Y'all gonna start donating." That was a shakedown. Then he said, "I want all y'all to put $20 in a pot tonight. Hold up your 20 in the air right now." So I'm like, baby, you can't put that in the pot because Sebo's only $20. My son like, no, I want to give God $5. And I'm like, but he only want $20, so not today, okay? Put it away for we're gonna hold it for next time. So my son like, no, this I want to give God $5. And so I was, of course I let him put it in the tray, but that's the kind of stuff that go on when you at one of them shakedown churches. They're gonna shake you down. But anyways, whoo. It was crazy because my son was a little kid and he didn't understand it. All he knew is he wanted to share what he had with his creator. So, anyways, back to the topic. Um, what was I saying? Oh, okay. So, yeah, the Bible, biblical faith, and all that, it has nothing to do. I'm addressing what was said on Dinah's panel. It has nothing to do with money. Hold on a second, y'all, because it's pretty late. I didn't want y'all to hear me sniffing. I'm drinking some, dang, what kind of tea this is? Shish. Oh, spearmint tea with a date. Usually I put a cough drop in it, but sipping on me some spearmint tea. This tea is the bomb. I got this one all the way from India. I researched it. I'm like, yeah, I want the best kind. So I ordered this from India. It's pretty good too. Hold on. Yes, I'm a tea drinker. I drink a lot of different teas to soothe me. My favorite is peppermint, of course. And then peppermint and let me see. I usually get the fruity ones for nighttime. They kind of, I like the fruity ones. But I've been liking this spearmint tea. I really like that one because it actually has a medicinal effect. You can feel the difference. You can feel it. But I've also drunk some other different kind of herbal teas that have like, woo. I'm like, whoa, I can't mess with that now, girl. Them Asian shops with the medicinal teas and stuff. Like, whoa, what is that? So anyway, back to what I was saying. I was addressing Elvis on Dinah's panel, stating that you know um, having faith was about having money, and I was like, was he basically was misinterpreting the scriptures, and I just wanted to put my thoughts on top of that because I know that what scriptures say was not what he was saying. So I just wanted to put my thoughts on top of that. And let's get into now um, the Liberia chat that they were having over on Kayla's panel earlier. OMG. So this is crazy. Damn, time go by fast. I'm 45 minutes. I ain't even been really saying nothing. All right, let me get into this topic. Okay, so listen. Elvis is a native African. He's not a Liberian. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the difference before I get into this. The difference of Liberians. Liberians are people that are descendants of chattel slavery in America. Those are Liberians. Okay, a small group of them were transported to Liberia on a piece of land that I'm quite sure they purchased, the white man purchased for them because they wanted the people to get out of America because slavery was over and stuff or whatever, and they saw no use for them but to migrate them out the country. So they went over there, bought a little land over there among the, I'm gonna say savages because the behavior and the mindset. And so they began to build, of course, with the assistance of America. They began to build, and America funded them. As long as they have their hand in it, they're going to fund. They funded them to build a country and stuff. And so they built up the country for a very long time. And the native Africans around them, which was Elvis and his peoples, all of those Africans, um, they're not Liberians. They had their own different tribes, okay? They were not Liberians. He is not a Liberian. Again, a Liberian is someone who comes from, who is a descendant of chattel slavery in America. That is a Liberian. You are not Liberian if you did not come from chattel slavery in America. As the Liberians were there building, later they sought out others to join, which I heard Colin them saying, well, they didn't try to get other people to join, but they did. They did. It just wasn't probably promoted as much in America because they eventually had a lot of them from Barbados. They went over to Liberia. A ship of them, they shipped over to Liberia. And they had some from Haiti. A lot of what you call successful doctors and lawyers and teachers that was from Haiti, they all went and migrated to Liberia. Okay, but it was after the Americo, the descendants of chattel slavery in America had built up the land and was building up the city. Then they came in, the Barbadians and then the Haitians. And I think later on, somewhere down the line, some Afro Brazilians also ended up there. Okay. Or Canadians, probably. I think it was Canadians as well. So, anyways, they did have people go to Liberia from that were slave descendants after the American Liberians had structured it and began to build and was in mid building. Okay. They were recruiting others to come over. Now they probably wasn't getting a whole lot of people to come over. But to be honest with you, I really think that they were trying to build first as much as they can and then send for people. Because if you send for them halfway in the middle of a building and stuff like that, they're likely not going to come, or they may leave. Now, what happened to some of the Barbadians? That's what happened. Some of them died off, and they were poor, and they had a hard time. You understand? Because when they came over, they came to Liberia, but again, how it was structured was kind of the American. It was the American Liberians' country, and they were welcoming people in. Okay, and so those Barbadians had a hard time. The Haitians, some of them had a very hard time too. They extremely, a lot of them had a hard time with the climate and the mosquitoes and the other things out there that probably they caught and stuff and died off. Okay, but they were working on getting people to the country that was freed people, descendants of slaves. In the meantime, they were working with these local native Africans, aka savages. But when I say savages, I mean people who practice some savage shit. Okay? And so in the meantime, they were working with these people, using them to do things, paying them, not enslaving them, because they got a story going around talking about they enslaved them. That the American Liberians enslaved the native Africans, when in fact it's the other way around. The American Liberians fought with them to not sell of the tribes that they were kidnapping, selling to Europeans. It was the Black American Liberians that stopped them from selling other Africans into slavery that they went and captured. So why would they in turn enslave the it don't make sense, okay? It's a lot of lies. I'm gonna tell you where the lies come from. The lies come because the people, I think we all know the story how this go. The American Liberians decided to welcome in the local savages, that's Elvis and his people, and these people eventually began to call themselves Liberian, which they were not. It wasn't their country, but they do dirty shit and then they start trying to find reasons to say why they did that dirty shit. Okay? So they started saying, well, they enslaved us. That's a lie. Well, they used us as they treated us horrible. No, they used you, they paid you to be indentured servants. Yes, you were paid. What the fuck you want more? You were paid. You wasn't a slave, you were paid. So, one second. So after they took these people country who welcomed them in, they took over the country and because it's wartime, as Elvis would tell you, oh, they only practice cannibalism during wartime. That's a lie, number one. It's a lie. Number two, okay, so when you guys went and took over their country, it was wartime. What did you say they do to the people during wartime? You eat them, literally eat them raw to absorb their powers. And this is what they did to these men. They ate those people literally raw to so called absorb their powers, okay? Phantoms of the village, all the way through. So the people took over, the local savages took over. And the country, the American Liberians and the Haitians and Caribbeans, they fled the country because they were always outnumbered in the first place. Their soldiers were tribes of, their soldiers came from the local tribes. The shit didn't make sense. Okay, listen. They were outnumbered. They couldn't fight back even if they wanted to. They were fighting a tribe of cannibals, savages, people that eat people, people that sell people, people that do all kind of child sacrifices and shit. And we know what happened. They had to flee the country that they built midway into a successful leading nation in Africa. I do believe, I want to say this before I go further, I do believe that that country was headed to be the leading nation in Africa. And I very much believe that if it would have had continued on, it would have become something very, very great because many, many, many more Black Americans from chattel slavery in America and Caribbeans and Haitians, many, many more of them would have joined those people eventually if they would have been allowed to continue to build. And that place would have been awesome. But unfortunately, it's not because the lesson is you went into um, a place where the land was already inhabited by people who basically who practice paganism, all type of stuff. Okay, when you saw those people selling people and shit and eating other people and all that, when you knew about all that, you had to get out of there. That was a threat right there alone. Ain't no way I'm about to go live in a village with these kind of people. Okay, I wouldn't even be able to sleep around that. Let me tell you something. A lot of people adopt dogs from the pound, and a lot of the times the dogs be abused. And they want to try to rehabilitate the dog and show him love and stuff, but that animal been so abused that even in kindness, it still end up attacking and biting the owner while the owner is being kind to it. You understand what I'm saying? So when people have a mindset that is not what we consider normal, and we don't consider cannibalism normal, we don't consider child sacrificing normal, we don't consider brides normal, we don't consider mutilating women normal, we don't consider any of that stuff, family incest, normal, to be normal. So when you see that going on with a person, I don't understand how you think you can change them. Like I don't. Some people try. They try and change the person or people, but to me, no. Uh. No. Especially if I have kids and a family around, I'm definitely not about to play with that type of mindset. You understand what I'm saying? There was a couple of women that went to a prison in America to visit their husbands, and the husbands were on death row for killing other people. And they have this program now where the husband and wives can spend time together, I guess romancing, so they can stay over and mate with their husbands for the weekend. And so one man killed his wife. You have to be married. And then another man killed his wife. And those women were women that was, I don't know, maybe they thought they can help those men. So my point being is that, when the mindset ain't right, it's not a good environment. it's likely you shouldn't dwell there. Now, let me give you this right here. I'm just thinking, I always say this when I hear Kayla say, go back to Africa. People say, go to Africa, and they go into Africa. I'm always thinking, why people afraid to go to places that's uninhabited? Why they afraid to go somewhere where there's no people in that area? Because there's a fear there that they're gonna need somebody if something don't work out. I'm like, why not go to an area? And let me tell you something. There's many places you can find that's uninhabited on this earth. Many, many places. Now, you may have to learn the landscape first before you send other people. You may have to experience the landscape and see how it is. Um, how the climate is, and what you have to stay there at least 3 months to see how it is before you can bring the people there. Those white people didn't care though when they were looking for somewhere for the black people to go out of their country. They didn't care that they had local savages there. They knew very well what was expected of their situation. They knew that they were going to have problems with those local savages. They didn't care. They just wanted to get them out of their country. Then Elvis said tonight, I heard him say on the panel, well, those black Americans that was Liberians, they were not American citizens, sir. They were people that hailed from chattel slavery in America. They're us, period. Black American, period. I don't care when they established the name American given to us. Those people are us. And that's something you can't take from them. And those very people are the people that went to Liberia and built a country that you stole from them. It wasn't your country. They have another man on Kyla's panel, Lewis or somebody. He's talking about where the Liberians went wrong because they refused to um, help the Africans or something like that or whatever. I'm like, they don't have to help anybody. Help yourself. What are you talking about? They were there before the Liberians even came. They don't have to help them with nothing. What the fuck? So he went on, Elvis went on to say, yeah, we have the country now and we getting all the money and that's that. He was so despiteful. He even went on to not acknowledge that Black Americans, free Black Americans, built the country. He refused to acknowledge that fact. He was set on saying the country is ours and we built the country. And I'm like, this motherfucker's retarded crazy. But that's how they see it. He refused to acknowledge that Black Americans built the country. He don't see it no other way except him and his people were right for going into that country and killing those people and taking their country. He don't see no wrong in this. And that's what makes him a slithering snake. He goes among, well, he not around real Black Americans, first of all, because calling them is cosplaying Black Americans, but you would know if you was around a real Black Americans because we would have been stumped your head off, cut it off, because that slithering snake would have been seen. He goes around those faking Black Americans and Even Aphrodamus kept telling them he doesn't like you guys. He's not to be trusted. And he showed himself tonight. You slithering around African American people talking about you want to build a bridge with them and all of this. But in the meantime, you can't even acknowledge that the country that you call your country was built by Black Americans that you stole, and you stole their identity as well, calling yourself Liberian. And then you tried to make it where they can't call themselves American because they hadn't left the country before American status was given to freedmen. So now this deceitful motherfucker, he tried to make it where the American Liberians is really not of us. They African too. No, they're not African. They're not you. And you're not them. You're not Liberian. You're African native. You are not Liberian. You stole the country and their identity and you claiming it. As you said loud and clear. Yeah, that's right. We stole it. And it's ours now. Get over it. And we getting all the money from it. Not no more. And we getting all the money from it. He refused to acknowledge that Black Americans built the country. He defended that. So the black guy on there from New Orleans asked him why y'all couldn't build your own country. Well, I didn't hear an answer for that. Well, we had our own kingdoms. What happened to your kingdom? Did you let somebody take your kingdom? What happened? And this is why I say he's a slithering snake. He goes among Black Americans as though, well, that's not real Black Americans. That's cosplaying Black Americans. But he goes around acting like he's friendly dealing with the Afro American people, but he's not. Not Afro, but ADOS FBA. But he's not. He despises us in his heart. That's what Aphrodite was trying to tell y'all. Boy, that mask be falling off, honey. The masks do come off sometimes. You gotta be listening though, okay? You gotta practice listening skills. Kala try to defend it. But no, you, the only thing we did wrong was thinking that those people thought the country was up for grabs. Yeah, he defended his. This is the same person who was saying he want to bridge a relationship with Black Americans in this country with the Liberians. Why? So you guys can play games that you played with the American Liberians with us. They got some of us way too fucking smart for that. We gonna spy you out. We not gonna trust you. So you can leave that alone. You must be talking about them Caribbeans and stuff. Not not people that descend from chattel slavery in America. Kala try to defend it. No, them savages, this, and this. And that's why I say, y'all gotta go listen to it. He finally dropped his mask as well. He began to say all kind of shit about Liberia. But fast forward, do you guys know that today in Liberia, there is no American Liberians? The country, they have fled the country back to America. And in the process of them fleeing, the savages fled with them under the disguise of Liberian. And so now you have a land of America that's filled with cannibal savages that mess with little girls. And you have a land filled with them calling themselves Liberians. But I just want my Black American people to know that I want you to be aware when you hear Africans say they're Liberian, you need to ask them, are they American Liberian? And if they say yes, that means they descend from chattel slavery here in America. But and look at the face and stuff now, real good, because you can distinguish the difference, or you can. But if they say no, they are the Liberians that stole the land, the country, and ate the people. The rest of them had to flee. They did horrible things to your people. That's what you ought to know about Liberians. So they say a lot of them is in this country today in a disguise, bouncing around like they one of us. They be acting cool with us, like Elvis tried to do and shit. They be acting cool with us. Oh no, we Black Americans too. You motherfuckers are not us. You're not us. Only American Liberians who descend from chattel slavery in America are us. Not Africans who stole the country and calling themselves Liberian. It don't even make sense to fuss over the country anymore. I agree with Elvis on this point. Where we okay, Kyla, we we killed the people and stole the land and ate the people. Move on, let it go. It's over with. You'll never get the country back. I agree. Lesson learned. The people don't want to go back. The American Liberians that fled from it, they don't want to go back. Around the savages. But I want to show you something real quick before I end this live because I didn't plan on being on here too long. I want to share something with you real quick. Okay. And I want you to know that trust and believe what I say. The American Liberians never integrated for us like intermarrying these people. They did not do that. Some people intermarried, but it was for like citizenship type of thing. You understand what I'm saying? But they never intermarried with them or anything like that because they consider themselves a level up from them. You understand what I'm saying? So I've heard Elvis say, and they mixed and integrated with each other and intermarried. No, they didn't. They didn't have families like that with you guys. They stayed separated. Okay, stop the fucking lying. Today in Liberia, all of Liberia is filled with the natives. There are no American Liberians in groups as a collective living in Liberia. They have taken over the whole country. So when Kala say his wife is Liberian and she lives over there, that's how you know that his wife is a cannibal from a cannibal tribe. That's how you know. Now, Kala tonight says some crazy shit about Liberia because he snapped, right? But at the same time, he'll tell you you should go to Liberia with him to build it up again. I want to show you why he said that too. I think this is very interesting. Y'all gonna like this. One second, it up because that video is creepy as fuck. But y'all gonna be like, whoa. Let me pull this up right quick. One second, I'm getting to it. Yeah, because sometimes people, Yeah, that's. I'm almost to it. Oh my, they got a video up here about Haiti's gang leader barbecue. I never see that video. I'll have to watch that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that video. Okay, let me get that onto this. This is gonna be interesting, y'all. I want you guys to see this. This is gonna be really interesting. And I'm gonna show you why calling a lot of people. Hmm. 1 second. Girl. Mm-mm-mm. 1 second, y'all. I gotta get to the video. Wow. Oh shit, I'm seeing videos I never even seen before. Okay, I guess I should share this screen with y'all too. Yeah, I should share this. I wonder, I can't find this video. I hate when I cannot find a video. 1 second. Child. Okay, so I may need to just type it up. Wow, this is crazy. Let me type in, let me see. Maybe it might come up under this. I'm looking for a particular video. Oh, I found it. Girl, hold on a second. Hold on a second. All right, so I want to share with you guys this right quick. What happened? All right, come on. Okay, so I want to share this with you guys right quick. Okay, where is my share screen? And this is why where you clicked off. Okay, also share tab audio. Tab audio. Select to tab to share. But why should I have to? Why can't I just do this? I'm gonna go with this right here. So, anyways, let's get into this video right quick. I want you guys to hear something about this video, right? It's a guy who talks about his cannibal, how he became a cannibal, right? And what he did to get the other people to fear him. Listen.
Has almost been the ultimate taboo.
It's a journey that once you've crossed that line, you can never fully come back.
Did y'all just see what she said? It's a journey that when you cross that line, you could never fully come back. Okay? The taste ain't gonna go away. Let's get back to this again.
back in some people's minds. Never fully come back in some people's mind. You can never fully come back in some people's minds. There's always something dangerous about you. That once you've
That's
crossed
fucking
that
crazy.
line, you can never fully come.
Cannibalism has always been the ultimate taboo.
It's a journey that once you've crossed that line, you can never fully come back in some people's minds.
These child soldiers believe that eating their enemy's heart will make them impervious to bullets.
If you shoot me, nothing happened. I cry.
Now, this is a guy, the butt naked guy, telling his story about cannibalism and how he became a cannibal and stuff, right? You guys can go check this out yourself because I'm not about to go through this video like that. Let me tell you the name. Let me move this off of the screen because it's kind of blocking the screen. All right, you see it? See what it says? All right, now let's go back to it. He's telling his story how he became a cannibal and stuff like that, right? Oof.
And what have you? Say, my son,
Now I'm gonna get to the part. I'm gonna fast forward to the part where you need to hear this as a traveling person to Liberia.
Skin. He told him could make the traditional offerings.
Victims to undermine Samuel Doe's enemies.
Master Sergeant Samuel Kayando was the president. So we injected his fame in the minds of people.
I want you to hear this part. And this is why you got a lot of people going to Africa, eating at their restaurants and stuff. Like Kala going over there eating at these people restaurants and stuff. Listen to what these people did to the food. To the food. At all around all the country where they have eateries, restaurants. This is what they did.
As the tribe's priest, Joshua's role was to use human blood, especially white blood cells, of sacrificial victims to undermine Samuel Doe's enemies.
Master Sergeant Samuel Kayando was the president. So we injected his fame in the minds of people by taking these white blood cells and take them to different eateries and pay people at those eateries and put them in every food that was cooked. So anyone who eat from that eatery automatically have the fear of President Doe.
After Samuel Doe was murdered,
Was the president.
Did you guys hear that? They went around with this man's blood, the president's blood, and injected the food with his blood all around the country. They paid people to put that injection into the blood so that people can fear him. And you running your ass over there eating at their restaurants. Really?
Samuel Kayando was the president. So we injected his fame in the minds of people by taking these white blood cells and take them to different eateries and pay people at those eateries and put them in every food that was cooked. So anyone who eat from that eatery automatically have the fear of President Doe.
after Samuel Doe was murdered in 1990, Joshua
Did Carla hear that? You're running over there eating at these people's restaurant and shit. And they going around at that time, which wasn't too long ago. We're not talking about 100 years ago now. We're talking about something that just happened not too long ago. Okay? This was not too long ago. They went around the whole country injecting his blood and paying people to inject it into the food. And here you have these other people running to Africa, sitting down eating from these people and stuff like, oh my gosh.
official victims to undermine Samuel Doe's enemies.
Master Sergeant Samuel Kayando was the president. So we injected his fame in the minds of people by taking these white blood cells and take them to different eateries You pay people at those eateries and put them in every food that was cooked. So anyone who eat from that eatery automatically have the fear of President Doe.
After Samuel
I just wanted to share that. I wanted to share that with you guys because when you hear Kyla talking about coming, when you hear Kyla talking about come to Africa with him, all right, go sit your ass down there and eat that food, okay? Shit, that's on you. That's on your ass. Listen, let's see some other videos because it gets crazy. Crazy. All right, let's see some of this here. Ooh, ooh, this right here. Okay, hold on. Okay, somebody's mad about. Oh, how do I get this up? Okay, let's get into this. Listen, he's very upset. He says Liberia was not like this when American Liberians ran the country. We know.
We have been tested as native people. So the native people now, what have we brought to our Liberian people? Doing the Congo Potter on all of this? Where Tomo Fala go to our $5 million from the border and eat a landing counter here? Tomo Fala go ski.
He said the Liberia was not like this when American Liberians ran it, and they are being tested as native people.
Here, Jeremiah Kune Kafia, they just steal our money from our budget. Today, nothing in the budget. That's why you see, even in the resolution, even if I put a go over there, I will call it myself and say, when I not get my money, I will not go there. Let me tell you the truth, I'm not going there. The other point I want to tell you, I'm not going there on my benefits. Because for nothing, cover them took our benefits. Yeah, our rules say for nothing, cover supposed to sign any paper that bring money from our budget. I challenge you for nothing, cover to deny it. That's what our rules says. Have you exercised that authority before? To do it, and you wake up. But what you are better than you for that cover. If what you are going to come back, I will go and vote for him to become speaker. I'd rather him being there, I'll be
hip hop. We've talked about this on the show before. You have African American rappers saying N-word this and N-word that, but a Caucasian can't. So say it.
Come on.
My fault. Okay, so let's get into this right here now. I want to show this video.
Peace, family. George making that shit again, man. I'm here in the gym, chilling with my African homie. I told you I got a lot of African homies, man. I grew up in Southwest Philly, man. I want to talk to my homie from Liberia, man. First, tell me your name, man. Where you from? Will. Will from Liberia. So let me ask you a question, Will. Why is it so easy for Liberians to assimilate into African American culture when y'all come in?
Man, for me, it's simple. If you notice Liberia, first thing you see on the conversation representation on the wealth.
Oh my gosh. The first thing George Macon needed to ask, by the way, George Macon is half Caribbean. And the first thing he needed to ask this man was he American Liberian? That was the first question. Because George Macon is under the assumption that Liberia, all these people out here are the same Liberians. He's not aware that there's a such thing as American Liberians and then Liberians who stole the country and ruined it. So he's talking to this guy as though his people built Liberia, which they didn't. They stole it and ate the fucking people. But George Macon is unaware of this. See, this is why we have to educate ourselves and stop running up on the people.
Countries is flags.
Right.
Our flag is red, white, and blue.
So look at that. Talk to the people,
Our
man.
flag
He's
is red,
shy.
white, and
He's
blue.
shy.
With one
His he say our flag is red, white, and blue. This a fucking shame. This is a native African saying this. Stole the land, but not only the land, but the people's identity. Lord. Oh my gosh.
star.
Talk up so he
That's
can hear
a
you.
representation, a direct connection to America.
Right.
Red, white, and blue.
So when y'all in Liberia though, and y'all seeing us, are y'all emulating the things that we're doing here too?
Oh man,
You got me irritated already at the top of the interview because he's talking to George as though they the ones built the country and their connection to America. He's talking like he's an America Liberian. He's not. That's fucked up.
I think that's the same for any third world nation outside of America.
Right.
That's what they do. One thing America do is it's able to broadcast.
And it's so crazy that you can't even tell them that they're not Liberian. That's how crazy they are. They know that they have an African tribe with an African name, but they're calling themselves Liberian and has stolen the country and the people's identity. And see, this all dates back, America Liberians, and to us right here at ADOS FBA, you have to practice gatekeeping. Stop mingling with all these people like that. Because this is the type of shit that happens when you do. People steal your land, your whole culture, your whole identity, and masquerade as you. Shit, this is crazy.
So to the world.
Well, let me ask you, but what makes Liberians so when they come to one thing I noticed, especially being in Philadelphia, when Liberians come to Philly, you see Liberian girls, they assimilate with African American boys, Liberian guys, they'll have an African American girlfriend. Here in Philadelphia, like we got a whole African section of Southwest Philly.
Yes.
And the Liberians and Ghanaians, they come and just fall right in line. Like they do everything that we do. Why is that though? Because a lot of other Africans don't.
We grow up imitating.
What is George talking about? Are you fucking serious? They're masquerading as a whole nother people that they're not. That's why. Because they're fucking masquerading. They're not you, sir. They're not Americans. They're Africans. They're not America Liberian. And apparently, a lot of the people don't know that. That's why they just mix and mingle with them because they under the assumption that they are the America Liberians when they're in fact the savages that stole the country and ruined it and stole the people's identity.
From America.
Right.
So when you come here, it's like, okay, this is what I've been doing.
Right.
On I guess you can say a core scale as far as
Y'all watching us doing what we was doing.
And this, so when you come here, you see what you did.
These are the people that practice cannibalism, child sacrificing, child brides, all of this stuff. These are these people. These are not America Liberians.
Been doing their whole life and just fall right in line.
So in Liberia, we always had these questions, but people say, and African Americans are the prodigal sons, like they got to return to Africa. If the Africans was to return to Liberia, say if 300,000 African Americans return to Liberia, what would happen from your perspective?
From my perspective, it depends on how they're returning and how they're received.
Well, explain to them the ones that was brought back and brought back when they established Monrovia as opposed to today.
Oh, back then the ones that went back with the mentality that they're better, they're different, right?
What the fuck are they talking about? This motherfucker, what? He's a whole thief, stole the people country, claiming their identity, masquerading as though he is America Liberian. George, this shit is crazy. The motherfucker's crazy. So he is saying he's speaking to George, making as though he is an America Liberian. And he's saying, oh, yeah, well, the ones that went the first time, they think that they're better than the what? I don't know what's.
They're not the same as the people that yes, they went
So this person that stole the Americo-Liberians' identity and country, his people, who calling themselves who masquerading as Americo-Liberians, he's saying that the Americo-Liberians went there and felt they were better than the native Africans. Ah,
went back to meet, I guess they believe savages like they were taught. You know,
So basically, what you're saying to the people is, when they established Monrovia, the Africans that they put on a ship and sent back was a lot of them was mixed race, mixed with the,
yes,
and they had the European agenda.
mentality, yes.
And so what was like the towns called they had there if an indigenous person was caught a certain period of time?
No. Basically, Monrovia was established. Okay, and
so they had the white man's Europeans mentality that you stole from them and has taken on that same mentality and identity. You guys know, they were like, yeah, we took the country because they refused to let us be high position people in a political arena of Liberia. Do you know when they took the country, stole the country, killed the people, ate them up? When they did that, they did the same thing. They went into office, and this man who was the president, he made all his whole tribe run the presidency in the country. He put all his people over the country, nobody else. So the things they were complaining about is in turn what they did. He's saying that the American Liberians had a mindset they were better than the savages, but you stole their identity and carrying on as though you're one of them right now today. Girl.
for the free slave that went over.
Right.
So the native people,
He's not used to the camera, y'all. He's not used to the camera.
But the natives basically was not allowed.
This is
sundown.
disgusting.
They were not allowed.
So they had sundown towns, even in Africa, but it was other black Africans that would kill the other Africans if they caught them. Because we had sundown towns here in the South, but if we got caught in sundown town, you get killed by white clan members or something. So now they sent a group of blacks there. They didn't send the revolutionary blacks.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. In America, they knew what they was on. The slaves that they sent back there was basically to establish a connection. Okay. So that they can.
So explain.
Excuse me. This shit is crazy. He said they knew what they was doing when they sent the people there to establish a connection with who? A connection with you for what? You live in a bush. What is it they want a connection with you for? Child, this ain't had nothing to do with you. He's pretending like they are the American Liberians when in fact they aren't. The American Liberians built the country and they had a connection with American Liberians, not with African savages.
Briefly explain to us the war before we come up to the question I had just asked by African Americans returning. Explain the war in Liberia, like the way you explained to me about the president that was.
By the way, y'all know these people still don't integrate with the American Liberians. I'm gonna show you their community after this video. They don't fuck with them.
First president that was killed.
Went around masquerading like they them people calling themselves Liberians and they're not. They're masquerading people's identity. They stole the land, but they had the audacity to continue and steal the people's whole name and masquerade as though they are the people. Girl, I wouldn't. This shit is totally disgusting.
So that wasn't going for the bullshit.
Imitating the ADOS FBA Liberian Americans. Imitating us. Talking about tethering. This is beyond. This shit is beyond tethering.
I mean,
it's beyond tethering.
It's no more now as far as what America does when it comes to control of a country.
Right.
They control the presidency. If you don't go along with our agenda, we can.
So who was the president that they killed first? The one you told me.
Doe. No.
Not the one Charles Tyler had
Okay.
killed.
In my growing up, it was Tubman who started uh, basically our development.
Right. And he wouldn't go along with the European structure.
Not him, but Tulver.
So he said it was Tallman that developed that started their development. Damn, this motherfucker claiming it like started your development. You're not a Liberian. You're an African native. Damn, this is crazy. Well, at least he pretended Elvis ain't even want to give. He didn't even want to acknowledge that black American freed black men from chattel slavery here in America even built the country. At least he's acknowledging and pretending to be. Oh my God, this
Tall.
is sad.
Basically, when he came into power and was doing what he was doing.
Right.
From my understanding, my learning, they did not like, all right, they did not like the way he was basically.
The Europeans.
Europeans, yeah. And so he was basically
They
taken out.
They whacked him.
He was basically taken out, and Samuel Doe was put in power.
Samuel Doe was put in power. So how
Did y'all hear this shit? They blamed they blamed the killing on the white man taking out the American Liberian president and replacing him with the native African savage president. You hear this shit? When it's clearly documented on video, the whole war and stuff. Oh my gosh. This dude, they such liars. They are such slithering snake, wolves in sheep clothing. Listen, he said, he didn't say his people, they had a war and took him out and all that. This man said the white people had him taken out and replaced him with a African native. You hear this foolery? No gatekeeping. Y'all want to run around and mess with these people and
how did Charles Tyler end up there?
It's the same thing, man. It's like you're not going along with our agenda. Okay, we have someone in place.
So they end up having a war. So that's what like the war.
1990 war, basically war.
I didn't get what he's saying about Charles Taylor. This nigga lying like crazy. Masquerade somebody else's identity.
About 89, Charles Taylor and Johnson and all those rebel factors.
So how devastating was that war?
Oh my God, it's very devastating. You can see it today. You spoke of Southwest. Most of us, like you mentioned, Southwest is just a
battleground.
Yeah,
What
one of the first stops.
What he's saying is in Southwest Philly is a major African hub.
Hold on, he said how damaging was the war over there. The African guy says the African one who masquerading as American Liberian. These people really believe in their mind. Oh, that savage shit is crazy. Listen, he says how bad was the war? He said, "Oh, very bad. You still see it today." This video was 3 years ago. And if you go, I have a girl who I follow on here. She's in Liberia, and she shows it all the time. It's so trashy and disgusting.
Stop now. And a lot of the Liberians and Ghanaians, when they touch down in Southwest, if you go to Southwest, you're going to see Ghanaian, African American, and Liberians all together in crews. And this is the sad part about this. They're fighting block to block to block, killing each other. So you got African Americans with Africans killing other African Americans and other Africans.
But that's the same
in Southwest Philadelphia. It's happening like that.
Even if you move Liberian, even if you move Africans out of it,
Because they never did like us. That's why. The motherfuckers despise us like Elvis. They masquerade and they want to try to kill the people off because they stole their identity. They're doing the same shit right here in America. Calling themselves Liberian as though they are black American that come from chattel slavery in America when they're not, in fact, they're indigenous African. That's number one. You masquerading like you one of us.
Black people
That's the
killing each other.
mindset. Yeah, that's the mindset in the U.S. You have sets within blocks of each other.
Right.
That you
So
go
they
against one another.
create, they came here and they still created
That
on the
mentality,
same,
like you
the
said,
mentality is
you
created on the
see it,
same
you
level.
see it when they come and just jump into the
So,
scene.
so what?
So what is he saying? The Africans came here and created a sect of tribal sect? I don't get this shit.
Us African Americans returning back to Liberia, what do you think will happen on a large scale? Say
On,
200,000 of us return back.
on, on a large scale, I feel, for me, I think that's a great thing. I think that's going to be a learning experience for both sides, right? And
Let me tell you why people don't get excited. To my black people, he think it's a great thing because the savages have stole the country, ruined it, don't know what the fuck they came. They don't know how to build a country. Period. Period. And they are relying on black Americans to go to the country and continue to build it up. Now the American Liberians that fled, they don't fucking want to go back there. They like, fuck that. Trump tried to send them back when he first was elected president. Those people were having a fit. They were like, please don't send us back there, sir. Please, sir. Please don't send us back there. They were having a fit. They don't want to go back around them savages. You know, they ate their people up and shit. Are you serious? They don't want to go back. Now he think it's a good idea. Such ooh, he think it's a good idea. You can see it all over his face. Look at him. Just look at that. You can see the lie all in him. He think it's a good idea for Black Americans to go back to Liberia so they can build it up because they can't seem to build the country. They can't do it. So they heavily reliant upon Black Americans coming to Liberia to build it. Now Kyla has drank the coffee and ate the food, so he's fucked up in his head. Cause he went over there, he brought his fat jiggly ass over there, gulping up all of their food and drinks and stuff, trusting them because he thinks that when he first went, he went with a group. And you wonder, listen, you ever see them Africans take a trip with the Pan Africans, and next thing you know, they come back and start their own Pan African movement? Hey, everybody go to Africa. You must go. It's so beautiful. And that's because they didn't eat the fucking food and drink the drinks. And I showed you the video. They be putting shit in the food and drinks. So you know them Pan Africans is a little. You gotta ignore them.
you guys will offer the native what is needed as far as support, financial.
What the fuck did he say? We gonna he said you guys African Americans, you guys gonna offer the natives. Oh, did he claim native? Hold on, I think he claimed native. This shit is crazy.
The native
Yep, he
what
claimed native. He finally admitted that they native. Let's see.
a learning experience for both sides, right? And you guys will offer the native what is needed as far as support.
We will offer. So wait a minute. Wait a minute, motherfucker. We gonna get there, and we just there to offer the natives who running the country, who stole the country and running it. We're gonna offer them the assistance that they need, support and assistance they need,
Financially, or,
and financially support them as well. Wow.
or just history, you know.
Wow. Did you guys they think we stupid as fuck? Now wait a minute, don't blame them because it was some stupidity. I ain't gonna say stupidity. It was some probably I don't know. I don't want to say it was some stupidity there when the American Liberians engaged with these people, but I wouldn't have engaged with them. Period. Just I don't care how nice they came off. I don't care. Like when to me, when you see trace of people that's bad, you gotta get the fuck on. Especially when you got women and children involved, you know. So listen to this guy. He said, "Yeah, you guys can come back and offer us the support and assistance and financially assist us in building a country again."
and
That's not there.
allowing the groups to basically build and establish what is needed for that.
Let me ask you, when you as coming here
Wow.
as a Liberian, real last question. When you see African Americans and you see how we are towards the white establishment, as opposed to how a lot of Africans are conditioned, right? When y'all, as an African, when you come here, when the first thing you see how like we challenge shit, but we like, man, we ain't doing that. What did you think when you first saw that?
It's broadcast. As African Americans, you guys are unruly. You guys are not disciplined. And that's the image.
That's the image that they say. They say that we unruly and we're not disciplined, right?
But when you come here and you grow up as I have and see what's going on and see how things can be obscure and manipulated, you understand okay, why these people this way and what's their agenda.
Right.
Right, because you guys are manipulative.
On both sides.
Yeah, because they try to make it seem like we unruly, we assholes. Really, we rebels against the boot. But this is the thing, because for a lot of African Americans, on the ground in Liberia, is there a lot of Liberians that's just like us, but the American TV don't show it?
Oh, of course.
That's kicking ass.
You will see whatever that you see here that is broadcast. Whatever that you see here that is broadcast and it's over there. There are groups that are going to see it, they're going to pick it up, they're going to emulate it, that's going to imitate what they see, and that's human nature,
right?
No, motherfucker, that's cultural appropriation. What are you talking about? Why would you copy what another culture of people do? That's not human nature shit. It's called cultural. I'm not going to copy what Indians do. I don't walk around with a fucking red dot on the forehead. Why would I do that? Why? Why would I just see something on TV and just copy it? Next thing you know, I walk around with chopsticks in my hair and shit and a red dot on my head, or what other people? Come on now. You want to be us. That's why you culturally appropriate us, because you want to be us. You wish you were us. He just admitted they needed us to come and support them and help them financially as well to rebuild the country, as though we're stupid. Why would we do that? My gosh.
Once they come over, you have to understand, in third world countries, the way America is portrayed is, okay, this is the land of milk and honey. This is where you need to be. So people try to do anything and everything in their power to come to the United States, but they don't understand full scope.
One more question. Do you think, like we was talking off camera, and as an African American, I never been to Africa, so I don't know. But I was told by another African that we actually stick together more than Africans. I don't believe that, but you just told me that we do.
Like I said, I told you as far as tribe, because for us, it's tribal.
Yeah.
So as tribe, it's different. But other tribes coming together, it's not.
But that's what he probably was saying, because we're kind of like.
I'm glad he admitted that. He admitted that they stick with their own tribes, but they're not about to come together with other black people. Right? Lesson learned. ADOS FBA. We're the only black people with that kind of mindset. We're the only black people with that kind of mindset that we don't stick together and we welcome all these other people into our culture and all that, and it's not a good idea. Because you cannot unify with people who he basically just stated that like tribes do not come together. So how you gonna work with people who refuse to come together because they different tribes? They can't come together. but you want to absorb them into your culture as one because you got that mindset, that open mindset that we all black. These people don't see that. They don't think like that. That's what I be saying with these black Americans running the people culture and stuff, not respecting the culture. You can't just indulge yourself into other people's culture without understanding their mindset. It's dangerous.
Forced to, where in Africa is tribalism. So is that why they're saying that when we return, they're looking at us as us in the West, not just the African Americans, but us in the West, us returning, we could turn Africa upside down when we return. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think a little bit.
Now, why we have to go to Africa to turn it upside down? And just let the Africans go back. Do this man look like he going back to Africa? Even Elvis, he'll tell you they're never going back. They have no plans on going back. They don't want to go back ever. So, yeah, they want us to go build it so they can go back.
For that, because you're coming with knowledge, you're coming with a source that's greatly needed, and you are coming with a new perspective. All right. So that
Just
tends to help.
30 seconds. Do Africans hate us?
He said, because you come into the country with knowledge, wisdom, and a new perspective that would help. What? So you need people with a new perspective and knowledge and wisdom to come build Liberia. Why you can't build it yourself? That's the thing. The question here is why can't you do it yourself? With all the money that Elvis says that they're getting for the country, why can't you build a country?
Because a lot of African Americans, some of them Africans, they hate us. Do Africans hate African Americans?
No. Africans do not hate African Americans, but African also there's a disconnect or misunderstanding. Okay. Right? So when they come here with that mentality of okay.
Now I'm kind of confused at this point because I don't know if George Macon knows this dude is a savage liar. He's not an American Liberian. His people is the people that stole the country and the people's identity, masquerading as American Liberians. Because for George Macon to ask him, do Africans hate Black Americans? That's like saying to a American Liberian, calling a American Liberian an African, and asking, do you hate the people you come from chattel slavery here in America? So it's like George Macon knows he's an indigenous African masquerading as a American Liberian. This shit is just so stupid though, because the whole interview is just fraudulent. because 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 this dude is masquerading like he's an American Liberian, and so the whole conversation is just limped. The whole conversation limped because it's not a real conversation because he's masquerading. You have to get a real American Liberian to have this conversation. Okay.
This is what we know. This is what we've been taught. All right.
Tell them what you told me, because you told me a lot of, see, we tend to look at our slavery when they stole people from Africa and brought people here and enslaved us. But we said a lot of African Americans forget that the Africans was colonized there too. So they have a mentality that they come here.
Oh my gosh, that Africa was colonized. Okay, so he said that Africans were stolen. No, they wasn't, George Macon. They were sold by African kingdoms and empires for hundreds of years to other nations. Okay? And how Africa became colonized, they gave weapons to one of the tribes they hired, like Elvis people. And they went through the country killing people and doing all kind of shit for the Europeans. Okay, eventually the Europeans colonized them. Like these people I mean, come on now.
That's basically what he's saying.
Yeah.
But tell
We're
him,
standing up there relating harsh Atlantic slavery, slave trade to being colonized. That's a damn shame.
your name, man. We get I
Like
held
I
your
said,
moment
my
up.
name is Logan. Born in Liberia. Live in the Philadelphia area right now. Love,
And
love.
one more thing. Elvis said we all look like them. George Macon is half Caribbean and half Black American. He doesn't look like this guy. He does have brown skin, but he does not look like him. I can clearly see this guy has certain distinctive features from somewhere else. George Macon doesn't look like him. And in fact, I'm a Black American. And I never seen a face like these features on this man does not exist in any of my community. I've never walked around and seen his face. He has distinct features. We don't all look alike. Cut the shits.
Conversation and more of these conversations need to continue to be had. So
And we gonna have it. We gonna have it in the Bridging the Gap series.
That's the only way, and that's the only way the gap is gonna be bridged. These
Yeah,
conversations
bridge.
seem like, oh,
Yeah, bridge. Bitch, please. When we find out, get educated that you guys practice cannibalism, child sacrificing, child brides, and all that shit, ain't no bridging, no gap with y'all. You can best believe that. Child, let me get off of this interview talking about bridging the gap. Bridge the gap. Shit. You done lost your mind. Okay. Let's go into another video, y'all. Okay. So that was pretty interesting. I want to show you a video about, yeah, it's so sad how, it's just so sad how the people not only had their land stolen and their people ate and killed, and the people, the savages not only stole their land, but they stole their whole identity and they masquerading around the world as though they American Liberians who built the country. Yeah, that shit is spooky crazy. Like, woo. And this is why if black people are gonna migrate somewhere, you need to go somewhere where it is uninhabited. You understand? You have to learn the land first. Go stay over there with your crew for about 3 months. Learn the land, the climate, see how it is for a few months. Then you can go over there and build if you like it, if you want. But going among other groups of people, that's a dangerous move. That's a dangerous move. And this is the case. What happened? Look what happened with the Liberians. Here's American Liberians too.
As we close out Black History,
I don't
This
really
is
like the
American
Phoenix Kings.
Liberians
I'm a
today.
scared. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That man looks so young.
Can you hear me now?
Wow.
as we close out Black History Month, we
Really great for his age. And to be a white guy, I believe he's Jewish, but man, he still looks super young.
turn now to
I
a
think he's older than me.
remarkable but often overlooked chapter of U.S. history, one that connects the United States to the West African nation of Liberia, founded more than 2 centuries ago by freed African Americans. ABC's Inez de Lucatera takes us on a journey through history to see how their legacy and their search for freedom continues to shape a country known as the Land of Liberty.
Excuse me?
You'd be forgiven for thinking this is somewhere in America. From the street signs to the yellow school buses and monuments like this Masonic temple, even a flag that looks very familiar. But we're a long way from the U.S. This is Liberia, a small nation on the western coast of Africa, and its story is intrinsically tied to America's. It's a little known chapter in U.S. history. In the 1800s,
But yeah, I mean, America and Liberia have always had a very close relationship. It's a full cycle, right?
Every year now, the Colemans hold a big family reunion. What began in 1998 as a small core gathering of Colemans has now blossomed into a massive event with as many as 300 American and Liberian Colemans attending.
We hope that they don't get mixed up and don't know who they are. We wanted them to know that who they were and where they came from.
A chance to reflect on their shared legacy.
Had a very close relationship. It's a full cycle, right? 1950, 51. I don't think anybody ever planned to come back, But when the coup took place, thank God we had a place of refuge that we could come back to, and
So they never really planned on ever returning to America, of course. And he says, thank God they did when the war happened.
settle again and try to start all over, But yeah, I mean, America and Liberia have always had a very close relationship. It's a full cycle, right?
Every year now, the Colemans hold a big family reunion. What began in 1998 as a small core gathering of Colemans has now blossomed into a massive event with as many as 300 American and Liberian Colemans attending.
We hope that they don't get mixed up and don't know who they are. We wanted them to know that who they were.
Okay, so we have to pause this. This Liberian, America Liberian group, they had fled Africa, and so they had families here that they raised who became up just American, right? They no longer Liberian, but they had families here they raised it up. And so she's saying she hoped they don't get mixed up and not know who they were and where they came from. So her clutch is still on Liberia. You come from Liberia, not America. You see what I'm saying? So when Trump tried to send them back home his first term, they didn't want to go back. Um, so it's kind of confusing because you didn't want to go back home, but you want them to remember who they are. What's the purpose of that when you don't want to go back home? So that's why I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, you right here in America around other black Americans. This shit ain't making no sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? This ain't Liberia. So they never going home. So what's your point? That's what I don't get that.
Were and where they came from.
A chance to reflect on their shared legacy and give back. The descendants of William D. Coleman also created a foundation aimed at rebuilding the nation that gave them liberty.
They're working on a foundation on rebuilding Liberia. Man, these people still have hope to go back and rebuild Liberia. I don't think the savages is about to give it up, sweetheart. Like, yeah, I think y'all know that.
Life is better here, than it is over there. We got to continue to work though, and remember.
So he said
who we
life is
are.
better here in America, even better than over there. He thinks it's better here in America. I'm trying to get, okay,
Why we came, where we came from, and do what we can to help the situation over there.
okay, that's what I don't agree with. How you gonna be in America trying to help Liberia rebuild Liberia? It's not making sense. Not for you, not for the better of your people. Because you're here in America, but you're trying to help rebuild. What the fuck is holding y'all up with rebuilding Liberia, by the way? What's really going down? Like everybody's, we gotta rebuild. Like you get money. Like what the fuck? Number two, it's not helping his people, the American Liberians here in America. You should be building somewhere else. If you don't want to be in America, you don't have to be in America. You can still take your group and migrate somewhere else and continue change the name. Don't use Liberia. Well, you can keep Liberia, but call it New Liberian or something, and go somewhere else. Because if you're not rebuilding Liberia, I mean, if you're not going back to Liberia, sending money back there, it's just not helping you and your tribe of people in America to send money there. That shit ain't making no sense to me. Y'all leave a comment or something because I'm confused on that. Like, I don't know if you just talking or something, honey, because that don't make no sense to send money back there. What I see, if I was Trump, I'd be doing the same thing too. Oh, you sending money back to your people? Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Anybody sending money back unless you're gonna be sending, or you're gonna be paying me to send a whole lot of money back because I want my country to be number one and flourish. So you know, I don't disagree with what Trump doing. He's trying to make his country flourish, honey. And why they trying to make other places flourish, why they here in America, it's not making no sense. It's just not making sense to me. And let me go back to the other one. Yes, that don't make any sense, sweetheart. Hold on. So that's. Oh, this is pretty loud. Congo Town, Liberia. National Kiki and motorbike riders. Look at these men. Not one of them look like a brother that I grew up with. Not nail one of them. Child, please. Oh, this is where the president lived. And the mansion bakes. I wonder, was this where the American Liberians lived or what? Inside that. Girl. Girl. Hmm. I wonder how the country was when this lady
colonized by the European power.
Ellen Johnson. Okay, let me go down. American Liberians ain't African. Exactly. Let's get into this video here.
I think much of the early history tended to focus and to dramatize the settler population, the settler population, leaving aside the fact that there was an indigenous population that lived here, that received them, that we tend to ignore the failures that assimilation.
Assimilation. Now, ladies, stop that goddamn line. If they assimilated, there wouldn't have been. If they assimilated, they didn't assimilate their culture to the local African natives. Lady, what is you talking about? Oh my freaking gosh, lady. If anybody took the culture of anybody, it's the native indigenous Africans assimilated themselves onto the Liberia America Liberians. Cut this bullshit, man. They be lying.
Some of the basis for what led to the coup d'etat and the subsequent wars. That cleavage that had not been addressed over time. Today, that cleavage that had not that provided some of the basis for what led to the coup d'etat and the
Wait, what's she talking
that
about?
received them, that we tend to ignore the failures at assimilation. That provided some of the basis for what led to the coup d'etat and the subsequent wars. That cleavage that had not been addressed over time. Today it's very difficult because any percentage of so-called American Liberians, numbers are so small.
Exactly.
That they have no means of doing it. And they themselves, everybody today is reaching for a common heritage and trying to find that common history, trying to find that common identity. That's what we're all searching for.
What?
And so,
baby,
it has been.
I ain't searching for no common identity with y'all because I understand clearly. I ain't trying to go back to the motherfucking land that sold my people off.
a long time problem, and we've paid the price for that, for the failure to address that over time.
Scared because they've lived in this country for years. Now they are being forced to go home. Nearly 3 dozen Liberian natives live here in the Triad, but they and thousands of others across the country face a March 31st deadline for deportation.
Tonight, they're appealing to President Obama and Congress to let them stay.
Margaret Johnson is live in our newsroom with tonight's big story at 6 o'clock. Margot.
Well, tonight we talk with one of the women on the list to be sent home, why she calls the situation unfair, plus the local efforts to change hearts in Washington.
It's been good, but now I'm sort of disabled.
For 22 years, Vera Clark has called the Triad home. The 60-year-old Liberian native lives and goes to church in Winston-Salem, makes a living taking care of children in her home, a lifestyle now threatened as Vera faces a March 31st deadline for deportation.
It's not fair to have been here, paying your taxes, following the laws, and then be told you don't have a future here anymore.
So she's a Liberian native, okay? No, she's not a actor.
Among the thousands of Liberians the U.S. gave temporary protective status as civil war ravaged the African nation. Vera remembers barely making it out of the country alive with a gun pointed at her head.
And several times they had it cocked. It was with live ammo in it.
18 years later, conditions are starting to improve, and the American government is
No, she don't want to go back home after them savages had put gun to her head and stuff.
preparing to send the Liberians home. But they don't want to go. Many of them have families, jobs, and homes, and are sending money to their relatives in Africa who are struggling as the country tries to rebuild.
A lot of stress and people on the phone calling. Have you heard anything yet?
The Liberians who are here are desperate.
Pressure from well-known people with clout may be their only hope.
I hope we can think better.
Please take a stand to keep.
State Representative Larry Womble has even sent a letter to President Obama imploring him to let the Liberians stay, saying the country's infrastructure is nowhere near ready to handle an influx of that many people.
I've always been taught, it's an old axiom, in order to take a pig and make him into a hog, he has to be fed, he has to grow. And Liberia is just like a baby now.
Back at Vera Clark's house, she's asking America to remember what they have in common.
Liberia has been an ally of the United States for a long, long time.
Themselves Americo-Liberians, freed slaves who left the U.S. and settled in Liberia, even naming their country after a U.S. president. So they believe the two sides have a strong connection. So the Liberians are asking the community to call your representatives in Washington and tell them you want them to stay. Back to you.
Wow.
What's up, you guys? We're here.
They don't want to go back, y'all.
Liberia is a country in West Africa which was founded by free people of color from the United States. The emigration of African Americans, both free and recently emancipated, was funded and organized by the American Colonization Society. The mortality rate of these settlers was the highest in accurately recorded human history. Of the 4,571 immigrants who arrived in Liberia between 1820 and 1843, only 1,819 survived. In 1846, the first black governor of Liberia, Joseph Jenkins Roberts, requested the Liberian legislature to declare independence, but in a manner that would allow them to maintain contacts with the ACS. The legislature called for a referendum, in which Liberians chose independence. On July 26, 1847, a group of 11 signatories declared Liberia an independent nation. The ACS, as well as several northern state governments and local colonization chapters, continued to provide money and emigrants as late as the 1870s. The United States government declined to act upon requests from the ACS to make Liberia an American colony or to establish a formal protectorate over Liberia, but it did exercise a moral protectorate over Liberia. intervening when threats manifested towards Liberian territorial expansion or sovereignty. Upon Liberian independence, Roberts was elected as the first president of Liberia. Liberia retained its independence throughout the scramble for Africa by European colonial powers during the late 19th century, while remaining in the American sphere of influence. President William Howard Taft made American support to Liberia a priority of his foreign policy. From the 1920s, the economy focused on exploitation of natural resources. The rubber industry, specifically the Firestone Company, dominated the economy. Until 1980, Liberia was controlled politically by descendants of the original African American settlers, known collectively as Americo-Liberians, who consisted of a small minority of the population. The violent overthrow of the Americo-Liberian regime that year led to two civil wars that devastated the country, the first from 1989 to 1997 and the second from 1999 to 2003. Early history. Historians believe that many of the indigenous peoples of Liberia migrated there from the north and east between the 12th and 16th centuries AD. Portuguese explorers established contacts with people of the land later known as Liberia as early as 1462. They named the area Costa de Pimenta, or Grain Coast, because of the abundance of melegueta pepper, which became desired in European cooking. In 1602 the Dutch established a trading post at Grand Cape Mount but destroyed it a year later. In 1663, the English established a few trading posts on the Pepper Coast. No further known settlements by Europeans occurred until the arrival in 1821 of free blacks from the United States. Colonization. From around 1800, in the United States, people opposed to slavery were planning ways to liberate more slaves and, ultimately, to abolish the institution. At the same time, slaveholders in the South opposed having free blacks in their states, as they believed the free people threatened the stability of their slave societies. Slaves were gradually freed in the North, although more slowly than generally realized. There were hundreds of slaves in northern states in the 1840 census, and in New Jersey, in the 1860 census. The former slaves and other free blacks suffered considerable and completely legal social and legal discrimination. They were not citizens and were seen by many as unwanted foreigners who were taking jobs away from whites by working for less. Like southern states, some northern states and territories severely restricted or prohibited altogether entry by free blacks. Some abolitionists, including distinguished blacks such as shipbuilder Paul Cuff or Cuffy, believed that blacks should return to the African homeland, as if it were one ethnicity and country, despite many having been in the United States for generations. Cuff's dream was that free African Americans and freed slaves could establish a prosperous colony in Africa, one based on emigration and trade. In 1811, Cuff founded the Friendly Society of Sierra Leone, a cooperative black group intended to encourage the black settlers of Sierra Leone, and the natives of Africa generally, in the cultivation of their soil, by the sale of their produce. As historians,
Y'all know the same thing was happening in Sierra Leone. They was burning this shit up. The native Africans was torturing their houses and their huts and all of those shit. The Black American settlers, they went through hell with those native Africans that they lived around. Oh yeah. So they basically went over there and they had to fight with these native people, these native Africans, like, child.
and Donald R. Wright put it, Cuffy hoped to send at least one vessel each year to Sierra Leone, transporting African American settlers and goods to the colony and returning with marketable African products. However, Cuff died in 1817, and with him his project. The first ship of the American Colonization Society, the Elizabeth, departed New York on February 6, 1820, for West Africa carrying 86 settlers. Between 1821 and 1838, the American Colonization Society developed the first settlement, which would be known as Liberia. On July 26, 1847, Liberia declared itself a sovereign nation. First ideas of colonization. As early as the period of the American Revolution, many white members of American society thought that African Americans could not succeed in living in their society as free people. Many considered blacks physically and mentally inferior to whites, and others believed that the racism and societal polarization resulting from slavery were insurmountable obstacles for integration of the races. Thomas Jefferson was among those who proposed colonization in Africa, relocating free blacks outside the new nation. Colonies in Africa. In 1787, Britain had started to resettle the black poor of London in the colony of Freetown in Sierra Leone. Many were black loyalists, former American slaves who had been freed in exchange for their services during the American Revolutionary War. The Crown also offered resettlement to former slaves whom they had first resettled in Nova Scotia. The black loyalists there found both the discrimination by white Nova Scotians and climate hard to bear. Wealthy African American shipowner Paul Cuff thought that colonization was worth supporting. Aided by support from certain members of Congress and British officials, he transported 38 American blacks to Freetown in 1816 at his own expense. He died in 1817, but his private initiative helped arouse public interest in the idea of colonization. Colonization societies. The American Colonization Society was founded in 1816 by Virginia politician Charles F. Mercer and Presbyterian minister Robert Finley of New Jersey. The goal of the ACS was to settle free blacks outside of the United States. Its method was to help them relocate to Africa. Starting in January 1820, the ACS sent ships from New York to West Africa. The first had 88 free black emigrants and 3 white ACS agents on board. The agents were to find an appropriate area for a settlement. Additional ACS representatives arrived in the second ACS ship, the Nautilus. In December 1821, they acquired Cape Meserado, a 36.
So see, with Liberia, the white folks had great intentions on helping them to build whatever colony that they established, so they can eventually send all the people there out of their country, America. That was their hopes, that, we're going to send them over there, and we're going to help them build up whatever, and eventually they're going to all want to go, that's for sure. So I think they had high hopes on sending a lot of the blacks returning to Africa, away from their white society. But instead, they had a war break out because these people stole the country and the people's identity. That's enough for tonight. I don't think I want to go too much further because I'm a little sleepy. I just wanted to touch up on what I had heard on Kyla's panel tonight, and how Kyla told the truth, how filthy it was in Liberia, but yet he be talking about how beautiful it is and we should go to Liberia. But when Elvis got up there, he didn't even want to acknowledge that Black Americans built Liberia, a country that you guys stole, and you stole the identity because you're not Liberian, you're indigenous Africans from different tribes. You're not American Liberians, is people that come from chattel slavery here in America. You're not a Liberian. You are an African indigenous person that stole people's land and their identity, and you're masquerading around as one of them. That's a damn shame. But once again, this is a lesson to who? To Black America. You have to start gatekeeping. You have to get exclusive like everybody else. I mean, that's the name of the game. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, I can't watch no more videos because I'm sleepy, but I will be reading into Sierra Leone because diners like to talk about American people so much. Our camps that moved all around the world, and how bad they doing or whatever. So I'm gonna look into Sierra Leone, read into that, and see what's going on with that. And let's get into that. Let's see what happened. Because, like I said, they were they had to fight with the local Native Africans as well. They were torturing their settlements every night and shit. For real, the black people that settled in Sierra Leone. So let's see how this go. Maybe we have the same thing that happened in Liberia. I don't think a war took place, but they did have war and strife with those people. It wasn't peaceful. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm gonna read into that and come back and chat on that. And let's look into Liberia and what it has to offer and what's going on. How did they treat the people, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna wrap it up right here because I am sleepy, honey. I cannot be if I continue to live stream half sleep, I start saying anything. So, anyways, I'm wrapping it up right here. Thank you for tuning in with Miss Chantel. Um, and this channel is a channel that do commentary on the foolishness of Pan Africanism, the foolishness of Kayla Nation channel, how he talks like he'll say in one statement at the same time he like and hate ice cream. I'm a big fan of chocolate Dutch ice cream. I ate it so much as a kid, but I think it's grimy and sticky, and I can't purchase it. I like the Mets. I'm a Mets fan, but then I don't like that they lost 3 games in a row. And I'm thinking about changing, but I like the Mets. I'm thinking about changing my favorite team. That's how he does, right? He just crazy all over the place. He's not established on one thing. He doesn't stand on one thing, and that type of thing would make you considered a scammer. It is the trace of being a scammer when you can't stand on one square, like you just all over the fucking place. That is a sign of a scammer. Do we not know that? That's what it is. Thank you for tuning in. I'm at the 2:30 mark, exactly 1 minute over the 2:30 mark. Thank you for tuning in with Miss Chantel. I shall be coming live pretty soon again. I hope you join it and hit the chat link and you know, join in. Thank you for tuning in. Good night.